The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
And welcome into a Friday episode of Running Point on YSNLive.com, brought to you as always by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig with you. We have a great show for you today, and we're going to start it off with another spring sports preview. This one's live on the show. We found someone that likes us enough to come on live at 1 o'clock and be on the show live on the air, and it is someone that's a little bit used to being live on YSN, Mr. Britton Taylor, head coach of the now Howland Tigers. Britton, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today, bud.
No problem, Anthony. Thanks for having me.
You got us. Well, first and foremost, congratulations on getting this Howland Tigers job and being able to have this exciting new chapter in your career and your long coaching career that I know has spanned many different organizations and teams. Coach, what drew you to Howland? What made you so excited to jump on board with this Howland baseball team?
Well, Anthony, I live in Howland. I've been in Howland now for about 15, 16 years, maybe longer. And I kind of feel like it's my home. You know, I'm originally from Central PA, but Howland has kind of been like my home away from home. And when the job opportunity came up, and I know a lot of people, I know a lot of the kids, and actually really feel like it's kind of a dream job. The field, I can see the field from my front window, and it's been I just really, really excited to be a part of the program and the school system.
So what were some of the emotions that went through your head when it got cleared and you did get the job and you knew that, this challenge, this opportunity was going to be right in front of you?
Well, I got a chance to work with the Guarneri brothers over in Niles, and who I can't say, Mike has been, in a sense, kind of a mentor of mine, and I've gotten to work with him and him and his brother, and Mike has always told me, said to me, we always wish, Howland has always had a huge talent pool. They've always had a lot of really good players to choose from. And, they've always had that advantage. And if we could have only, had that same situation. And he was one of the first persons to congratulate me and say, you guys are going to have a great program. But I just want to give a shout out to those guys. Those guys have always done things right there in Niles. They're absolutely awesome.
Let's talk about your roster and the kids that you're going to bring on to this spring sports season. Let's hear it. Who are the kids that Howland fans need to watch and need to be ready for coming into this new baseball season?
Well, first and foremost, our seniors. We have two seniors, Brendan Ray and Anthony Marin Petrie. Brendan is just a great individual. He committed to Hiram, so he's going to be at Hiram here next year. He's a great left-handed pitcher and a very good first baseman, and actually absolutely excellent at the plate. Junior-wise, we have Dom Santee at third base. Dom is an absolute dog, plays hard, gives you everything he's got, power hitter. We got Luca Franzaglio, middle infielder. Luca same thing. He's one of these kids who just plays hard, and he's actually been a joy to watch so far this spring. And as far as, and then behind the plate is a catcher, another junior for us, Aiden Anders, who's been a real nice surprise for me. I really think you're only as good as your catcher, and Aiden has been phenomenal so far from what I've seen. And then, we're a young team, so we've got a ton of sophomores and freshmen. Bodie Biggins, a sophomore, Keaton, Perry, still a whole bunch, and then a ton of really good freshmen who are going to get a lot of playing time this year. One of them, you're going to hear his name for years to come, Braden Kavarik. Braden is absolutely fantastic for his age. Great hitter, good fielder, good pitcher. Terry Warner, Richie Ansel, Isaiah Burgess, another good, and Santino Minetti, some really good freshmen. Another sophomore I left out, Stephen Bubon, who's going to really be influential for us this year on the mound as well.
Want to take time to talk about Brendan Ray a little bit because we know that kid so well. Obviously, he's been to back-to-back YSN All-Star games. We see him a lot in Class B baseball. He's on YSN quite a bit. What does it mean to have a senior like that in the first year as a head coach, someone that makes it really easy to buy into what you're selling and buy into the culture that you want to bring into Howland, and to really make that transition real smooth with a senior class with him and the other seniors on the team?
Well, fortunately for me, I knew Brendan. I had coached JVs at Howland, I think it was 21 when Brendan was a freshman, and got to work with him and Anthony, and just a great group of kids. Anytime you're coming into a young program, you want to focus on, you really want to focus on discipline. You want to focus on, creating, in a sense, you want to just create that situation in the program. And Brendan is a great leader and a great individual. I mean, just a great group of kids. I can't say enough good things about him. Obviously, besides his play, he's National Honor Society. He's just a smart kid and a great individual. Just very, very excited to be there for his senior year.
Let's talk about your schedule now. We'll start with the conference, and obviously you just joined the AAC that is loaded with not just really good talent on the field, but really good coaches. You've joined a really good coaching room with Coach Gabriel from Boardman, obviously Coach Niddle from Canfield as well, Coach Paris from Fitch, all great guys in this room. What are you expecting out of the AAC this year? What do you want to get out of it from Howland?
Well, I expect that conference is always tough. Fitch, Boardman, Canfield, always obviously can't say enough about those baseball programs. And I expect for us, and even Warren sometimes. Warren's got some good games. I expect Austintown and Canfield obviously to be really good again this year. I'm sure Boardman's going to make a good run too. Our goal as far as the conference is to just do the best we can, and hopefully by the end of the season, we're not at the top, we're close to the top.
When you're in a conference like that, some people would say, well, that season's hard enough, but I know Howland's always putting their non-conference schedule, making it very tough, making it prepared for the tournament time. Who are some teams outside of the AAC that you're excited to do battle with and that you're excited to pop up on your schedule?
Well, there's a lot. Obviously, we have Lakeview. I'm good friends with Coach Carson. Worked with him at Niles. That's a game that they're perennial. Especially with Coach Carson, they're going to be a perennial. One of the teams that you're going to see every year. We have one that I'm looking forward to is the Girard contest, which is later in the season, just because I work with a bunch of Girard people here at Lifeline Partners. But I'm just, we have, I think right after we play Canfield, we're going to face South Range. And we actually start off the season with a doubleheader against Ursuline and Mooney. So, there's going to be lots of good competition for these guys. Like I said, we're a young team, and I think every game is going to be a learning process for us. And my goal is for us to just continue to go out, be competitive, and improve on every game. And my goal is for us to go out at the end of the season uh, as hot as possible.
When you got the kids in front of you, and one of the first things you want to do as a coach is just kind of, introduce them to who you are and what you expect and your coaching style and your philosophy and things like that. What were some of the first impressions you wanted to make sure that you made when when you met these kids some of these kids for the first time? Some of them, as you said, you already knew. When you first got in front of them as a team, what were some impressions that you wanted to make and you wanted them to know right off the jump about you and about what you expected as a coach?
Well, first of all, I want it's important to stress not only for the kids, but also for the families involved, because obviously you've got parents and so forth and families. I wanted them to stress that I'm going to give everything that I have. We are going to be organized. We're going to be efficient. From a coaching standpoint, I put together a coaching staff, 6 different individuals who are absolutely fantastic. But then from them, the big thing for me is discipline. And especially with a young group, we want to focus on discipline. We want to focus on doing the little things right and being effective from that standpoint. You can take great teams that are full of tons of talent, but if they play undisciplined baseball, they're going to struggle. But versus you can take teams that maybe aren't so good talent wise, and if they play a disciplined game, they can have a lot of success. So I want to start there and just work from there and continue to progress.
A main job of a high school coach is always coordinating with the parents and building relationships with them as well. So they know they're putting their kids in the good hands. And being a parent yourself, I mean, being on the line, already having a high school athlete go through the whole process. I mean, and Maddie, how much does that help you kind of relate to these parents and to be able to know what they're going through on that end?
Well, good question, Anthony. I think it helps a lot, having been there and seeing, different challenges and so forth. And I think it helps a ton. And I've seen things from both standpoints now, and it really, really, really does.
Coach, we're not going to let you go without giving you the chance to shine light on the staff you put together as well. We know that you don't do it alone. Talk about the people you've brought on and the people that are going to help you with this Howland baseball program.
Oh, that's absolutely huge. That was my main goal. I think in the past they've only had like one or two, and you can't do everything yourself. I mean, you really can't, and to be effective. One of the guys who's been around, he's actually a close family friend, Josh Sweepus. Josh is just absolutely amazing. He's worked with me with travel teams in the past, and like I said, he's a family friend, and his knowledge is amazing. He does a heck of a job with the kids. I brought on Jared Lee. Jared is a little bit younger, went to Westminster, played baseball there. Jared was actually a head coach down in Fort Myers, and was also he works for Perfect Game as well. He's done an amazing job so far. And then I brought on another guy who I've been really close to over the years. I've coached against him, and I just think he's a phenomenal individual as well as a coach, Tom McCleary. Tom coached the travel level, and he's always had a ton of success, and I just really enjoy working with him. Absolutely amazing. Jim Newbrow is going to work with our JVs. Is Jim's a Niles guy originally, which he kind of brings. I tend to be a little bit more laid back, and Jim brings that Niles grittiness, and I absolutely love it. And another thing that I think is important with coaching is, bringing back guys who you've worked with before. Josh McCleary. Josh is a former Howland ball player, played college baseball, and he's working with our outfielders, and he's doing a phenomenal job. And then another Howland guy that I brought back, Mason Bayes, and he's going to be working with Jim as well with the JVs. And Mason's very knowledgeable. I'm going to really love having him on the staff.
Coach, the softball fan to me has to ask if Coach Sweepus is related to Lindsey Sweepus, who pitched for Champion back in 2012. Do you know?
I don't think so.
I saw the Warren, they're both in Warren, so I thought maybe.
I don't think so. I think his family is a Niles family.
Big family too,
Yeah.
probably. I mean, Sweepus was a very uncommon name, I guess. So I just had to see because
Josh played. He was a really good baseball player back in his day. He actually went to JFK, and he played. He was D1 JUCO. I believe from what I heard, I mean, he was heavily recruited outside of that too.
So you ask him, and if there's a little connection there, you tell him that you heard of it, all right? Because Lindsey Sweepus was a stud for Champion back when they won state in 2011. So you gotta have those bloodlines, right?
Absolutely.
Coach, before we let you go, I want to give you the Howland fans a shout out to when your first game is and when the first time they can come watch you guys play.
Well, we scrimmage this week. We scrimmage Niles and Gerard this week, and then next weekend we play a doubleheader on Saturday at Seam Park against, I believe it's 12:30, and then again at 12 and 2:30 against Mooney and Ursuline. So we open up with a couple of nice contests there, and follow it up the following Monday. We've got Boardman back to back.
Throwing you to the Sharks to start. Bob Seam Park doubleheader against Mooney and Ursuline.
Wouldn't want it any other way.
No better way to start, Coach. Thank you so much for hopping on today with us. We appreciate it. We wish you the best of luck this year in Howland, and we can't wait to talk to you again real soon.
All right. Thanks, Anthony. We'll talk to you later.
You got it, bud. Britton Taylor from the Howland Tigers baseball team, a new head coach for Howland, and he has a good core of guys that is ready to go and a very talented group of players. The Tigers look to make some noise in that AAC, just like softball. Going to be very competitive on both baseball and softball. Everyone's talking about the softball AAC, rightfully so, with a state champion and a state runner-up, both in the same conference in different divisions. But this AAC baseball conference is no joke either. And we're going to talk to the other AAC coaches here soon. We have Coach Gabriel already scheduled for next week, so we'll have him on to talk about Boardman baseball and Coach Niddle as well. We're not going to miss him. Ty Bartell taking care of Austintown Fitch needs and Coach Paris down there. So we'll have the rest of the AAC under wraps for the baseball season 2 to preview their seasons. That was a great way to start the show. I love it. And we have more today. We're going to stay in the AAC, switch over to softball. We have Coach Kernan and Coach's Corner with him to feature on today's show as well. And then we are also going to recap the night that was last night. We had 2 regional semifinals go down in Canton Memorial Fieldhouse, and they both went very swimmingly if you're a YSN fan. And we will also preview tonight. We have our first chance for a boys team to go to state tonight. First of 3 games where we will send, hopefully, 3 teams to state. We're guaranteed 1. Spoiler alert, we're guaranteed 1 team in state. Let's hop into the scoreboard and see what went down last night on the YSN scoreboard, which is presented by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. It can be found at ysnlive.com/live. It is a great tool for our YSN fans. Whether you're watching one of our games or watching one of our broadcasts, either way, you don't want to look away from the action for too long, and the YSN scoreboard is a quick and easy way to get live updated scores across the YSN family. If you were following last night, every end of quarter score was updated from Canton Memorial Fieldhouse. And if you were following, you were having a happy time throughout the whole time because both of our teams pretty much led wire to wire in dominating fashion. We'll start with Ursuline and talk about domination. They steamroll VASJ 85-44. Looking at this final score, you would not have guessed. We talked about the stats yesterday. We previewed this game. And I was telling you, VASJ averages more points than Ursuline. And it was by about 15 or 20 points per game that VASJ had the advantage of offensively averaging points per. That was not the case last night. Ursuline's offense was unstoppable. They had 3 players in double figures. They had just a unrelenting attack, and then their defense did what their defense always does, and held a very strong VASJ offense that we talked about at length yesterday as well. Held them down, and there was only one stretch of the game that lasted about 2 minutes, where VASJ had a lot of success in a stretch of basketball. Everything else, they struggled with turnovers. They struggled with missing shots, contested shots. It was a clinic in dominating basketball for Ursuline. They absolutely were the class of this game. I don't know if these two teams played again or played more times, it would always be this lopsided. I think on paper and on the floor, and the rosters are much more evenly matched than this. But it was just one of those times where Ursuline, it was their night. It was absolutely their night. Nothing was going to stop them. And nothing did. 85-44, your final score. Ursuline wins over VASJ. Let's look at those final stats. I told you that they had 3 players in double figures. And I'll bring you up the stats in a minute, just getting them up as we speak. Hold tight. All right, so for Ursuline, Jalen Gunther had 24 points, Jaden Payne had 14, and Deshaun Will had 12. They held VASJ to just one player with double figures. Antonio Brown had 17, and then their big perimeter shooter, Sean Schenker, had 9, and Quindell Wright had 8 for had 6 for VASJ. So 3 players in double figures for Ursuline. They never trailed. They were up 47-31, I believe was the halftime score. 47-30, at halftime. Look at this third quarter. So it was 47-30 at halftime. After 3 was 71-37. You do the math, that is a 31-7 third quarter. Unbelievable. And then Ursuline just kept the gas up in the fourth. They scored 14 more points in the fourth quarter, and they won the fourth quarter 14-7. Just a phenomenal display of absolute domination from Ursuline. So they advance to the regional finals on Saturday, and they will play, well, guess what? It's a YSN team coming in hot, and it'll be an all YSN matchup in the regional finals as Canfield, once again, just like Ursuline, led wire to wire. In fact, Canfield trailed once in this game. I shouldn't say wire to wire. That's not technically true. Canfield did trail 6-5 early in the first quarter. But after that point, they led 13-11 after 1. And then the second quarter was all theirs. They led 28-25 at halftime. The third quarter was a monster for Canfield as they went on a big run and led 48-41 after 3. And then the fourth quarter was the one where they put their foot down. They outscored the Tigers in the fourth quarter 25-5. And they win 68-45 over Warrensville Heights. Some final stats for Canfield. Tony Russo had 17 points. Dom Cruz had 16. And Drew Shapiro had 10. That means in the last 2 games combined, Drew Shapiro has 23 points, by the way. And remember, he averages 4 points per game coming into the district championship game. So he has stepped up big time as a point guard, saying, you know what, I'm going to need to score because the better defenses we play, the better they're going to be at trying to slow down our best scorers. And I'm going to have to be a guy that can go and score in the tournament. And he's doing that very well in double figures for 2 straight games, and that is a district championship and a regional semifinal. So the 2 biggest games so far of their season, Drew Shapiro has stepped up big and been a scorer and a legitimate offensive threat being in double figures both times. So Canfield with the dominating win, and they will advance to play Ursuline. It's going to be a Canfield versus Ursuline regional final, Saturday, 7 o'clock, prime time, Canton Memorial Fieldhouse. It's going to be awesome. This is what YSN wanted. This is what everyone in the area wanted. We are guaranteed a team in the state tournament. And for basketball's standpoint, this will be the third year out of the last 4 seasons where a YSN team in basketball has gone to state in either boys or girls basketball. So do not try to tell us that the Youngstown area, or the YSN map, I should say, because it's not all Youngstown at YSN. The YSN map is going downhill in basketball. Because I know there's a lot of naysayers for area basketball saying that it's dying, or it's going downhill, or it's not as good as it used to be. When you have 3 out of 4 years where you're sending someone to state out of the area, you're doing something right. Springfield on the girls' side last year, Hoban obviously for a YSN family school. We had McDonald go in 2021. In 2020, West Branch, obviously, their girls' team went to the state semifinals before being called off the floor because of the shutdown. So the only year that we didn't send someone to state was 2022 out of the last 4 years. So here we are again, back at it. We're guaranteed somebody. Is it going to be Ursuline? Is it going to be Canfield? You'll look at these two matchups, and we'll break it down a little bit here towards the end of the show. But first, we want to get through our recap, and we want to make sure that Coach Kernan has time to get his Coach's Corner featured. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a break, take a commercial break on YSN. After the commercial break, we are going to come up with Coach Kernan's Coach's Corner from Canfield Softball, and then when we get out of there, we will come back and we will preview the Knights game tonight, JFK in action in their regional final, and we'll also preview tomorrow's regional finals as well, as we have not only Ursuline and Canfield playing each other, but we also have Cardinal Mooney going up against Lutheran East tomorrow as well. So don't go anywhere. We have a lot to do still on Running Point, brought to you as always by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
Craftsmanship to us is 60 years of pride and dedication.
Passed down from generation to generation.
The hardwood floors that your kids take their first steps on.
The solid wood doors you quietly close at night.
The things we create day in and day out are the products that end up turning your house into a home.
At Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, uncompromising quality and craftsmanship built our business.
And it will keep us moving forward for generations to come.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means we want to take care of the community that takes care of us too.
And we have to work together always. And that's how you stay in business for 40 years.
You know, I love being a helper because when I help somebody, it makes me feel good.
It means a lot that I can make a difference in others' lives.
So I will do everything I can and just being there for them every step of the way.
I want them to know within the first 5 minutes that they could depend on me. That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun, it all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Anthony Harwig here with another spring season preview. We are joined by the Canfield softball coach, Mike Kernan, joining us after a season where Canfield went all the way to the final state championship game, and they were the state runners-up last year. Coach, before we talk about this year, let's get just a reflection on last year obviously the great run you guys had and the lessons you're taking from last year into this year that will carry forward.
Well, anytime you make a run and get to state, there's a lesson, valuable experience. So we absorbed that last year. We wanted to carry that over this year with the program, with the team. We had 8 seniors that left last year that did a tremendous job leading this team. So they handed off, to this next team, and at a high level. So there was a good mix of these kids took that baton and kept it high and are keeping expectations high. And they worked a little extra. I mean, getting there and saying, hey, this is what it takes to get there. Nice, valuable lesson. And we tried to use that as a piece to help our off season and help us get here to today.
With 8 seniors gone, talk about the leadership and how much you've seen kids that are stepping into a much bigger leadership this year, and how much you've already seen how good they're going to be at being leaders of this team.
And I tell you what, that's fun to experience and fun to watch. You never know what kind of leadership is inside these kids. And once you go to the off season, like we go through, where we're doing skill work, we're doing conditioning, we're scrimmaging when we can, putting on camps and watching these kids step up. They don't necessarily have to be seniors, but I am going to give a huge pat on the back to these seniors, because I'm not sure they could have done any better than lead the team than they have this offseason. And you have Milena Toth. I'll go right to the seniors real quick. Faith Morell and Jess Shugart in this offseason. Macy Kalina played basketball, but these seniors really, took it upon themselves to lead this team in the offseason to put us in an excellent position today again.
Now let's meet the whole cast of your roster, go through the names and the people that, Canfield fans should be watching this season.
Well, we have from last year alone, we have Macy Kalina returning. We have a lot of returning starters, which is nice for me, nice for our squad. Macy Kalina is a senior, first baseman, third baseman. Milena Toth, the first team All-State pitcher. Faith Morell, who in the state semifinal game laid down the squeeze bunt to perfection. And so those 3 are back. Our junior class at second base is Sydney Lutz. And boy, has she matured even through this preseason, going about a week away from opening day. There's a player that really has matured in the offseason from last year. And she was a great ball player last year. And then you have Marina Koenig, our shortstop, and 2 freshmen last year that started all season. First team all AAC, Jenna Treveri, and our catcher, our mainstay with Leah and mainstay with Milena, Leah Figueroa, who also, was hand in hand with Milena working out all off season too. So that's the core of the group returning, and that's a nice solid core.
Let's talk about now your schedule. Obviously, you play in maybe the toughest conference in the whole state of Ohio. You have yourselves who got to state. You have Fitch, who won state. Boardman, Howland, who are also very talented. And then Warren Harding, who is always scrappy and can never be counted out, especially on the offensive side of the game. Talk about this conference, what it's like going through it, what you expect out of it this year, and what you're hoping to get out of it this year as well.
I'm hoping to not tie. How's that? It's a tough league. If you have a state Division I state runner-up or Division I state championship, Division II state runner-up, and throw the likes in there of Howland with some great returning players and Boardman with some great returning players, that's one heck of a schedule right there. And like you said, Warren Harding always comes at you scrappy. So that's a good schedule just in itself right there, let alone, all the other top teams we added on there. And the Myrtle Beach schedule just came out too within the past couple days. And we have some top teams on our schedule from there as well.
I mean, then you guys opened the season with Austin down Fitch. That series is going to be very looked forward to because of the way the last year's went. I know you made that joke about it. I was joking with Steve Ward earlier. You guys just get some lights and just play it as long as you need to this time around.
I think that maybe that's why they put us at the beginning of the season, just in case. We'll play these games out.
What's it like to open the season right off the jump with a team that I know everyone on your roster is looking forward to and wants so bad?
Yeah, I mean that's a good question because it's just a different factor approaching your season. Is you're coming out playing a Division I state championship. You're playing a very key game. If our goal is to win the AAC championship, I mean you're playing the games out of the gate against the best team in the state, basically. So, I mean, you look at that, our approach is, I guess it gets us a little more time to prepare. We had a good talk with the kids a couple weeks ago about, prepare with a purpose. They have the best pitcher in the state. They have the best team in the state. They're state champs. We're preparing to try and compete. And if we could put ourselves in a position to win, a plus for us. So, I guess having this time off before the preseason or before the season starts, maybe who doesn't help? I don't know, but we're trying to take advantage of it. That's for sure.
You talked about Myrtle Beach. Obviously, that'll be a very fun and tough part of your schedule. Talk about the rest of your non-league schedule and the teams that you're really excited to be a part of your challenges this year.
We're keeping the tradition of pulling twice, and they're always good. And we just kind of stay steady, I think, all year. Towards the end of the season, try and pick it up a little bit, a notch, just a little extra there. I know in our strikeout cancer tournament, Lakeview, they've come on these last couple of years. We have them Triway, a doubleheader. Their pitchers going to Georgia Tech. They were state champs 2 years ago. And Louisville, Chardon, always quality ball clubs, Uniontown Green, and we end our season against champion, as Gratishar, and just a nice squad year in and year out.
When you think of how that will prepare you for a tournament run that you hope gets you right to the game that you were at last year, how do you navigate that? Like, how do you navigate a season knowing everything you go through, whether you win or lose the games? Obviously, you want to win everything. It's all trying to get you back to where you went last year.
Yeah, I mean, setting a goal to do better than we did last year, I mean, that's a pretty high goal. I mean, yeah, do we want to win the AAC? Sure. Do we want to beat Fit? Sure. Do we want to win a state championship? Sure. I mean, the fact that we have the talent of team that can achieve those goals, that's great. How do we approach that through the season? You just take 1 week at a time, 1 day at a time, one practice at a time, and get yourselves better and prepare physically, mentally, and I see our team, from, again, the off season, winter through our preseason now, and our approach going into our first game. We got a couple scrimmages coming up. It's almost like one game at a time. Yeah, you're anxious, you're excited, a lot of emotion within, but it's still, you just got to go practice and play the game and let it take its course.
Melina Toth, senior year, all-state pitcher last year. This is going to be a scary question to people that play you, but how is she improving? Like, great players find ways to improve every year. What things has she gotten better at this year than last year that you've seen so far?
Well, she was a great, I'm not going to give away any secrets there, by the way. But once she was a great leader as a junior, and to see her step up as a leader, I'm not sure I can ask for much more. Just seeing that intangible extend out of her as a senior, I wasn't sure what to expect, how she was going to approach the off season, but she took this team under her wing, her and the seniors. And, I couldn't have asked more from a leadership standpoint. She's working hard on her swing. She's working hard on her pitches. We talked about, throwing a little harder, mastering your command, get a little better at everything. but she's taken the approach to hitting. She was a top hitter for us, and she worked harder to improve on hitting even more. And her pitches. I told her there's no room to just settle with what you have. And I tell that to all my pitchers: keep getting better. Keep it simple. Keep getting better.
I know she wanted that last game to go differently. It wasn't the way she wanted that last championship game to go. How hungry have you seen that make her in this offseason, getting ready for this season? How much has she let that drive her ability to work?
Yeah, I'm going to say I'm sure there's a lot in there. We didn't dwell on that a lot. I could have done a lot better job preparing that group for that championship game. It's just where it is. When you're the leader out there, you're in the eye of everybody. You're there. We got there because of you, our team, but the pitcher's always a main piece. So when you lose, it sits in a little tougher. But that's the kind of character Milena is. I just can't stress enough the great character is. But she absorbs that maturely, quietly, and I know she's using that as fuel, as she did even in the off season and going into this season. For sure, that's been some nice gasoline for the fire.
We're talking about your returning pieces, and obviously everyone's so excited to see the players that did so well last year come back. But with 8 seniors gone, there are also new places to pop up and players that are stepping into much bigger roles this year. How have you seen them handle coming into a team that has such high expectations and to hold up that bar and hold up that standard?
It's scary. We had a great JV team last year because we had a lot of talent. I couldn't stress enough. There were kids that were on that JV team that should have been playing varsity, but there was just no room. Any way you looked at it last year. So these kids, we did an inter squad yesterday, and I'm watching these kids, and they know, again, we're to a point where there's 2 teams out there, and everyone's still fighting for a position. And there's some good softball being played. There's some good, they're doing a lot of little things extremely well. And again, I'm going to just be in another tough position when push comes to shove. At these main games or towards the end of the season, who's who? Who are the players? It's going to be one heck of a 9-player lineup, whatever it is. I'm going to have a lot to choose from, and the kids are producing and working hard.
Not a bad problem to have, and a problem that I'm sure a lot of coaches in the area would love to have that kind of issue where they have to pick from a lot of different talented players. Coach, before we let you go, I want to give you the chance to shout out your coaching staff and the people that will be behind the scenes helping you. I know you don't do it alone. I know you have a lot of people that work hard to make this program what it is. I want to make sure you have the time to put the spotlight on them a little bit.
Oh, they've been great. I got a new coach who played for me at Ursuline Red Hearts. She's on board this year. She was with me in the past, and I'm very lucky to have her back on board. CJ Sapp is an assistant coach, and she played at Mooney. She helped us last year. She enjoys the coaching, knows what she's doing, and she's a nice asset to have around. Carrie Durkin has been around here for a while, running the JV program and assisting with varsity. Just excellent coach, knowledge, knows how to handle kids. Very fortunate to have him back. And I'll call her my sister, my assistant coach, Barb Bellestrino, I don't want to say she started with me day one when I started coaching 20 plus years ago. And she's still with me. We have fun. I think the longer we're here together, I think definitely know how to handle each other, but more importantly, I think we appreciate each other that much more. And I'm very lucky and blessed to have the staff I have here at Canfield High School and all the support at the high school, from the community. Very fortunate, lucky in general.
Coach, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and giving us a solid season preview of these Cardinals. And I know a lot of people are so excited to see on the field. Give the fans a shout out when the first chance to come see you at home is and when they can come cheer on the Lady Cardinals.
Well, we open Monday and Tuesday with a back-to-back Fitch. That would be March 25th and 26th. Weather permitting, we might play both on turf at Fitch. And then we're going to head actually that week up to Akron Firestone and play a doubleheader. If anyone wants to check out a nice Akron Firestone, we're going to play Geneva. Our JV will be up there, so we'll have everybody up there.
Awesome, Coach. We can't wait. Thanks again for the time, and we'll talk again real soon.
Hey, thank you for all you guys do. Appreciate you guys. Thanks.
Coach Kernan, the legend of Canfield, now took that team to the state championship game last year, and they were state runners up. And that's going to be a heck of a way to open the season. Not the very first, because the Saturday before is the first official day of the softball season. But that Monday, the 25th, you'll have two teams that played for state championships playing each other to open the year. That is equivalent to number 1 versus number 2 in college basketball, playing to open the season pretty much. I mean, might be one of the most highly anticipated games, not just of the area, but there might be a lot of people in the state of Ohio that want to see the way that game goes. They could not beat each other last year. That just adds to that storyline. The fact that they played twice and they were so evenly matched, they went so far into extra innings that they just had to say, you know what? Let's just tie the conference. We can't exude our arms. We can't push anyone before tournament time starts. They were right at the cusp of the end of the season. They just said, you know what? Let's just tie the conference. Let's both gear up for state. And hey, here's a shocker. Making that decision worked out because both teams went all the way to the state championship game. Fitch won it. Canfield fell short against Talmadge. Here they go again. Early this season this time. First game. They'll have plenty of time to get it in if they can't get it in one night. They'll have plenty of time to finish. I have a sneaky suspicion that there's going to be a winner in this game this year. Someone's going to have one of those plays. Who it is, I have no idea. I can't wait to find out. We will talk about all that when that time comes a week from Monday. Whew, that's going to be a fun episode of Running Point. My softball fandom is going to make me geek out about that game. But let's hop into the scoreboard because we still have basketball to talk about. Let's jump into Warren JFK playing tonight in the regional finals against Richmond Heights. This team is the reigning state champion in Division 4. They went 29-0 last year. This year they are a little bit off of that path, 16-9, but as you can see, doesn't matter too much because they still got themselves 3 wins away from a state championship in Richmond Heights. But JFK hoping to stand in front of them and stop them from doing that. We talked about this game a little bit on Wednesday's Running Point with Gary Altizer and Scotty Mincher after JFK won on Tuesday. But you look at Richmond Heights, and like we said on Wednesday, they come in with a record of 16-9. They had tough losses to open the season, 3 in a row. Excuse me. But 2 out of those 3 were out-of-state teams, and another one was a Division I boys team in the state of Ohio. So those are not losses to turn your nose up at. They won 3 in a row after that. Then they lost 2 more in a row to NMHS and IMG Academy. We all know how good I am. I mean, let's just be real. The schedule is astronomically above what most teams in our area have to face. I mean, they beat Mariner for 87-55. That's a very skilled team out of state. 2 losses to Thornton and Garfield Heights. We know Garfield Heights just beat Hoban in the regional semifinals in Division I. So Yeah, I think this is a pretty good team. They beat St. V's by 10. Um, the whole point of this is, yeah, Richmond Heights is pretty good, but not as dominant as they have been in the regular season. Now we turn the tournament time. They've been ultra dominant. Here are their tournament wins: 93 to 52, 62 to 26, 95 to 54, 87 to 37. They've been um, just sweeping their way through the tournament. Now these two teams haven't played each other since back in 2021 when Richmond Heights beat Warren JFK out of the tournament. As far as common opponents go, they don't have any of those either. So this is going to be one of those ones where it's just here's my best, here's your best. And we talked about JFK at length on Wednesday too. 4 players averaging double figures for this offense in Michael Gondolian, Nick Ryan, Jaden Ritchell, and Nico Simonero. So JFK's going to have that balance. They're going to have that offensive balance to win this game. It's going to be a tall task for sure. But if they open the doors and beat the reigning state champions, then you got to think that window opens up a little bit wider. Not saying that other teams in the state aren't going to be good. Obviously, if you get there, you're good. But it won't be the Goliath of Division 4. So if they are able to get past Richmond Heights, you got to feel like the boulders to state championship are just a little bit smaller in front of them. We go to tomorrow. We have Cardinal Mooney taking on Lutheran East. That one will be in Canton at 2 o'clock. Winner goes to state. And then Canfield versus Ursuline Saturday at 7 o'clock. Now, a little bit of change. We are trying to get these games broadcasted for regional finals. We will have, for sure, audio only live tonight. We will have then tape delay video. So we will be there tonight. Audio only for live, but we will have the video on tape delay as well. 7 o'clock, Dom O'Brien will be there for the audio only broadcast of the regional championship. Saturday, we are still up in the air. We are trying to get these games cleared. Once we do, we will let you guys know. But we are trying our best to make sure that we have someone there for teams. If they go to state, we want to make sure that YSN has represented there. So assured that we are trying our best to, cut through a little bit of the red tape and get some kind of broadcast out there because people really wanted them this week for the regional semis. We felt, we couldn't do it for the regional semis, and FHS had the video rights, and we just we couldn't get it done. But we're going to try our darndest to get it done on tomorrow's regional final day to be there when hopefully these teams get to state. As I said, we're guaranteed 1, but hopefully we get 3, as Mooney and JFK as well as Ursuline and Canfield all fighting for a regional championship and a trip down to Dayton next weekend. That'll do it for today's episode of Running Point. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. And I want to also thank Coach Britton Taylor from Howland, the baseball team, to thank him for his time and he taking time out of his day to come on live. And then also thank you to Coach Kernan, who gave me his time for that Coach's Corner as well. And we will continue our spring previews next week because we have a couple of them already scheduled, and we're going to have some fun. More spring previews next week. Enjoy the weekend. Hopefully, when we come back on Monday, we're talking about 3 basketball teams, all with tickets punched to Dayton. Charles Marsh, man, we appreciate your help, your photography, and your crew down there at Mahoning Valley Sports does a tremendous job, and you're one of the reasons why our website looks as good as it does. You and our ace photographer, Gary Leininger, y'all both kill it. So thank you, Charles. Thank you, buddy. But once again, we will sign off. We wish all of our teams the best of luck tonight and tomorrow. And we hope that when we come back on Monday,